Welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I'm going to talk once again about Litecoin and how it's currently performing, but also I would like to thank you for watching my previous videos. And that being said, I would like to get started. So let's take a look at the charts. So I opened up the Litecoin compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily candles. And what we're clearly seeing is, as I said previously as well, is that we saw this breakout above this downward sloping resistance line and we were able to find support on top of it. And currently we are performing above this downward sloping resistance line, confirming this breakout and the trend reversal of the strength compared to Bitcoin that is currently increasing. So what I wanted to show you is actually just a few things over here, and that is how it's currently looking to me and what I think is a very important level for the upcoming days to stay above or on top on. So I will draw this line over here and I will be making this line yellow just so you can see the difference between the downward sloping resistance and the upward sloping support line. What you can clearly see is that there have only been two touch points on this upward sloping support, the touch point at the beginning of the support line and the second one over here. So what I would like to say about this is that this trend line is not still fully completed. I don't think it has a lot of significant value right now, but I think it would be very nice to actually see, hypothetically speaking, a support level over here before we would be heading further, because if we see this trend line actually supporting Litecoin strength compared to Bitcoin, we will for sure once again in the future perhaps see a retest of this upward sloping support, and that would be very helpful for the overall price action of Litecoin during the next upcoming days, but also for the overall strength compared to Bitcoin. So this is something I wanted to show you. As well, I would like to enable the EMA ribbon, and what you can clearly see if we zoom out a little bit is that we have been right now supported by the EMA ribbon, even though we have not been able to see a crossover on the EMA ribbon yet to see the longs taking over the shorts and actually supporting the strength compared to Bitcoin from Litecoin right now. So currently I think this is still looking very healthy. Still, the EMA ribbon is serving as a major level of support. You can clearly see that there have been already two daily candles closed above the EMA ribbon at this point in time at approximately 0.003 Bitcoin. And the current candle, you can clearly see that the wick towards the downside has not even passed below the EMA ribbons. The other two did, so I think it's holding very strong currently, and it is very likely for me, once we hit this upward sloping support, to see if we probably could be seeing a movement towards the upside getting created. For sure, it has also a lot to do with what Bitcoin's price action is going to be. I think Bitcoin's price action has been really nice during the past day, so I think the Bitcoin's price action won't actually hold Litecoin's strength compared to Bitcoin back. I think eventually once Bitcoin will consolidate, Litecoin will see a major bump in the strength compared to Bitcoin. Lastly, I wanted to enable the moving averages. Unfortunately, we are still trading underneath the moving averages on the daily time frame. But I think once we break above these moving averages, as I said previously, we will for sure see a major momentum getting started. For now, they will be serving as levels of resistance above us. You can clearly see that we are not able yet to break above the 50-day moving average. And this is, for me personally, the next move that I will be monitoring closely to see if it will be able to actually break out above the 50-day moving average, or if it won't hold strong on top of this upward sloping support and will actually break out towards the downside. So this is something I wanted to show you, and that is personally because I will be monitoring this very closely during the upcoming days. So let's get a little bit further by taking a look at the Litecoin compared to the US dollar chart. But before doing so, do not forget to hit that subscribe button on the channel, and if you're liking the content so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up. That will be highly appreciated. And if you are right now doubting if you would like to purchase cryptocurrencies, don't forget to use the link down below in the description to actually sign up on Bybit, Femex, Binance, or Gate.io, where you will be able to purchase different types of cryptocurrencies. So let's get started at the Litecoin compared to US dollar chart. So if we take a look at the Litecoin compared to the USD chart on the daily candles, you are clearly seeing that we're getting supported by the moving averages. We are for sure seeing a major level of support on top of the 200-day moving average. You can clearly see that all daily candles at this point in time closed above the 200-day moving average with your body, and these two candles actually closed above the 200-day moving average as well. So the moving average is actually serving as a major level of support on the daily time frame. Also, what I think is very important is to eventually see the crossover of the 50-day moving average, the thin green line above the 100 and 200-day moving averages. That will be for sure a significant move, and I think that would actually give Litecoin a lot of strength in its current price action. And I think you have to monitor this very closely on the daily time frame to see when this actually will occur, if you would like to know when the next major move is going to be. Also, I would like to take a look at the MACD. You can clearly see that the MACD has not seen a crossover yet. I personally thought that this would occur a little bit more or less during the past 48 hours. We haven't seen a crossover yet. I think a crossover is quite inevitable, but you never know. We might see a major uptrend in Bitcoin's price action that would clearly help Litecoin's price action as well, and that would perhaps mean that we won't be seeing a major crossover on the daily MACD and not seeing any type of downward momentum getting started. But I personally am still very doubtful about this, and I think you have to take into consideration that the MACD is actually right over here looking at quite a little bit negative to me. I think this could personally mean that we would see a decline in Litecoin's price action, but for sure that is something you would like to see occur before and see what the effects are going to be. So let's get a little bit further by showing you that if we see a decline in Litecoin's price action, I think for sure you would like to see Litecoin holding strong on top of at least the 50-day moving average if we see a major decline in its price action. But it could probably also be just a minor decline in its price action by finding support once again on top of the 200-day moving average, confirming that this is a major level of support and heading back up afterwards. So that is something I think is very probable as well. So let's get a little bit further by taking a look at the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame, and what you're clearly seeing is that we were able to break above the moving average. You can see that right now we are currently seeing the past 4-hourly candles closing on top of the EMA ribbon and clearly finding support on top of this. So I think this is very interesting for sure, and it's also very helpful to see and identify what we could possibly be seeing as the next move on Litecoin's price action. And what I think is also very important, if you take a look at this over here, is that if I place this horizontal line at this point in time, you can clearly see that we have found support on top of previous resistance. You could clearly see that this was a major level of resistance in the past, as well as during the latest breakout underneath this horizontal level of support where we're currently trading above. So I think this is very important for sure. And lastly, I would like to actually enable as well a Fibonacci retracement level to actually show you what I possibly think will be major levels of support and resistance just for the upcoming days. I will be placing it by selecting the swing low towards its swing high from this current uptrend and heading all the way towards where we're currently at to see what we could possibly expect from Litecoin during the next upcoming days. So you could clearly see that we broke a small tad below the 0.236 level. That is the Fibonacci level at $168. We traded a small tad underneath this level. Afterwards, we saw a major increase in Litecoin's price action, and right now we are currently trading on top of that level over here, the orange line of previous resistance at those levels in the past. So I think that is very important for sure, but we are not still able to identify a trend at all. And I think what you have to take into consideration is that right now the only thing that actually counts is actually being able to find support on top of the EMA ribbon. Also, taking into consideration how the MACD looks like on the daily time frame, that is what we discussed earlier, and that is looking for me right now not very optimistic. On the 4-hourly time frame, it's looking better because you could clearly see that we were able to see a crossover at this point in time on the 19th of August. Afterwards, we saw that major increase in Litecoin's price action, and right now we are trading above that level of support that was previous resistance. So the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame is looking quite good to me, but we all know the daily time frame is more significant, and that could probably mean that we could see anytime soon, once we see a crossover on the daily time frame, a crossover on the 4-hourly time frame as well. So that is something you would like to take into consideration right now with Litecoin's price action. So if we see a crossover towards the downside, I think we will for sure not be able to hold strong on top of this level, perhaps not even be able to hold on top of the EMA ribbon, but I think this could mean that we would be heading once again towards the retest of the 0.236 level of Fibonacci, and that could clearly mean that we would be forming a type of consolidation in between these two levels at approximately around $168 and $188, and that could be a major level of consolidation that I would clearly not be very doubtful about, that we could probably see right over here Litecoin trade in between these two levels of Fibonacci. So that is something that could possibly happen for the upcoming days before seeing a major breakout occur either towards the up, towards the downside eventually. Of course, the downward scenario is not something I in particular would be very happy with, but it's something you always have to keep in mind. But we would be spotting that on this channel if that occurs, so that is something I'm not very worried about. I'm only worried if the price action is going up and I'm missing out on that possible buying opportunity. So lastly, I wanted to discuss the RSI. On the 4-hourly time frame, you can clearly see, if we take a look at the RSI, that it's right in the middle of the purple area. I think this is very important, and let's take a look if we are spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence. You can clearly see that we are not spotting any type of bearish divergence, and the bullish divergences are not spotted either. So I think that is something important right now. You could say that this perhaps might have been a lower low and a higher low on the RSI at this point in time over here, creating a lower low on the chart and a higher low on the RSI. But I think this minor bullish divergence actually was immediately seen on Litecoin's price action by seeing this small pump towards the upside, finding support on top of previous resistance. So this is for sure right now what I wanted to tell you. For the people who would like to know what the scenarios are for the upcoming days, well, right now there's not any patterns being shown. So what I am clearly seeing is that we have to stay on top of the 0.236 level of Fibonacci. I think this is of utmost importance, and what you would like to monitor very closely is actually as well the MACD on the daily time frame, to see if this crossover on the MACD will actually occur during the next upcoming 24 hours. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like the video so far, do not forget to give me a thumbs up down below. It will be highly appreciated. Otherwise, have a nice day.
We need some lithium. Gas fees way too high. We're getting sick of them. Indeed.